In publishing and graphic design, Lorem Ipsum is a filler text commonly used to demonstrate the graphic elements of a document or visual presentation. Replacing meaningful content that could be distracting with placeholder text may allow viewers to focus on graphic aspects such as font, typography, and page layout. The Lorem Ipsum text is typically a scrambled section of De Finibus Bonorum a Malorum, a 1st century BC Latin text by Cicero, with words altered, added, and removed such that it is nonsensical, improper Latin. A variation of the ordinary Lorem Ipsum text has been used in typesettings since the 1960s or earlier, when it was popularized by advertisements for letraset transfer sheets. It was introduced to the information age in the mid-1980s by Aldus Corporation, which employed it in graphics and word processing templates for its desktop publishing program, PageMaker, for the Apple Macintosh. Example text: a common form of Lorem Ipsum reads, another version uses the word adiposisi rather than adiposising. Others include additional words to add variety and prevent repeated verses from word wrapping on the same phrases. Discovery: Lorem Ipsum text is derived from sections 1.10.32 of Cicero's De Finibus Bonorum a Malorum. The original passage began, Nec porquisquam est qui de Lorem Ipsum quia dolacita met consectita adiposi vlit. It is not known exactly when the text acquired its current standard form. It may have been as late as the 1960s. Dr. Richard McClintock, a Latin scholar who was the publications director at Hampden-Sydney College in Virginia, discovered the source of the passage sometime before 1982 while searching for instances of the Latin word consectita, rarely used in classical literature. A physical source of the Lorem Ipsum text may be the 1914 Loeb Classical Library edition of the De Finibus, where the Latin text finishes page 34 with Nec porquisquam est qui do, and begins page 36 with Lorem Ipsum euro, suggesting that the galley type of that page was scrambled to make the dummy text seem today. Latin source: the original version appears in the 1914 Loeb Classical Library edition of the De Finibus, Book 1, Sections 32-3. 32, sed ut perspiciitis, und omnis est natus era sit voluptatum accusantium dolorem que laudantium, totum rem aperium ecipsa, curiabilo inventor veritatis aequasa architecto biti vitae dicta sunt, explicabo. Nemo enim ipsum voluptatum, quia voluptas sit, aspinator audit ot fugit, sed quia consequenta magni dolores ios, qui ration voluptatum sequi nesciunt, nec porquisquam est, qui dolorem ipsum, quia dolacita met consectita adiposi, engivlit, sed quia non numquam, duius modi tempora in si, dedunt, ad labore dolorem ameliquam querat voluptatum. Ad enim ad minima venium, qui nostrum exercitationem ullum corporis accipit laboriosum, nisi ata liquidex a commodi consecita? Qui autem bellum reprehenderit, qui in a voluptate vitessi, quam nihil molestae a consecita, vel illum, qui dolorem fugiet, quo voluptas nulla parita. 33. Ad vero eos a accusamus eosto odio dignissimos ducimus, qui blanditi praesentium volutatum delenitiat corrupti, quis dolores a quas malesias excepturi sint, obcassati cupiditate non provident, similique sunt in culpa, qui officia deserunt molitia aimi, idis laborum a dolorem fuga. A harum quidem rerum facialis est a expedita distinctio. Nam libera tempore, cum saluta nobis est elegendi optio, cum que nihil impedite, quo minus id, quod maxime placet, facere possumus, omnis voluptas assumenda est, omnis dolor repellendus. Temporibus autem quibustam a artificiis debitas ot rerum necessitatibus saper veniet, ad a voluptates repudiandes sint a molestae non recusande. Atacerum rerum hictonetera sapient delectus, ut ot reendis voluptatibus meas alias consecutor ot perferendis dolorebus asperias repellata euro. English translation, H. Rackham's 1914 translation a euro and the aforementioned Loeb Classical Library edition a euro with the major source of Lorem Ipsum highlighted. 32. But I must explain to you how all this mistaken idea of denouncing of a pleasure and praising pain was born, and I will give you a complete account of the system, and expound the actual teachings of the great explorer of the truth, the master builder of human happiness. No one rejects, dislikes, or avoids pleasure itself, because it is pleasure, but because those who do not know how to pursue pleasure rationally encounter consequences that are extremely painful. Nor again is there anyone who loves or pursues or desires to obtain pain of itself, because it is pain, but occasionally circumstances occur in which toil and pain can procure him some great pleasure. To take a trivial example, which of us ever undertakes laborious physical exercise, except to obtain some advantage from it? But who has any right to find fault with a man who chooses to enjoy a pleasure that has no annoying consequences, or one who avoids a pain that produces no resultant pleasure? 33. On the other hand, we denounce with righteous indignation and dislike men who are so beguiled and demoralized by the charms of pleasure of the moment, so blinded by desire, that they cannot foresee the pain and trouble that are bound to ensue. And equal blame belongs to those who fail in their duty through weakness of will, which is the same as saying through shrinking from toil and pain. These cases are perfectly simple and easy to distinguish. In a free hour, when our power of choice is untrammeled and when nothing prevents our being able to do what we like best, every pleasure is to be welcomed and every pain avoided. But in certain circumstances and owing to the claims of duty or the obligations of business, it will frequently occur that pleasures have to be repudiated and annoyances accepted. The wise man therefore always holds in these matters to this principle of selection: he rejects pleasures to secure other greater pleasures, or else he endures pains to avoid worse pains. Variations. Today's popular version of Lorem Ipsum was first created in the mid-1980s for Aldus Corporation's breakthrough desktop publishing program PageMaker for the Apple Macintosh. Aldus adapted older forms of the Lorem text from typography samples to use in PageMaker's graphics and word processing templates. Nowadays a variety of software, including text editors and plugins, can generate semi-random Lorem-like text, which often has little or nothing in common with the canonical adaptations other than looking like jumbled Latin. Apple's Pages and Keynote software employ such jumbled text to sample screenplay layout. Lorem Ipsum is also featured on Joomla and WordPress web content managers. Microsoft Office Word 2007, 2010 and 2013 have a Lorem Ipsum feature. Adobe Dreamweaver offers a Lorem and More extension for inserting Lorem text into web pages. Cicero's first oration against Catilina Quo usque tandem abiter, Catilina, patientia nostra? Quamda etiam furor est tuus nos eludit? A euro is sometimes used in type specimens. See also, Asemic writing, Ichorn shrdlu, philotext, Greeking, Li-Europan links, list of Latin phrases, metasyntactic variable, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, notes. References. External links, the original De Finibus Bonorum a Malorum from Cicero, on Latin wiki source.